A tiny startup to a global powerhouse.
That's a pretty big leap.
For sure.
Yeah.
We've got 2 of his motivational YouTube talks lined up, and let me tell you, this is some seriously actionable advice.
Lay it on me.
All right, so first up, how to turn setbacks into advantages, and second, how to navigate a world that's changing like crazy fast.
Seems pretty relevant these days. Everything feels like it's changing faster than ever.
Definitely. And Jack Ma's got some great insights on how to, not just survive, but thrive in that environment.
You know what's really interesting about Ma?
What's that?
He doesn't sugarcoat the entrepreneurial journey, at all. He's incredibly open about his failures, failing his university entrance exams a bunch of times, struggling to find jobs early on.
Yeah, I remember him talking about that. Pretty humbling for someone who's achieved so much.
Oh, yeah. And he even jokes about it. He says, if you succeed, every mistake becomes legendary. If you fail, it's just garbage.
Uh-huh. So true. But there's a real message there, right?
Definitely. You got to be willing to experiment, to stumble, to pick yourself up and keep trying.
It's that whole idea of embracing failure, which is something he talks about a lot.
Totally. And that's what makes his story so relatable. He didn't start out with all the answers or some huge advantage. He built Alibaba from scratch when nobody even really knew what e-commerce was.
Right. He had nothing to lose, as he puts it. And that's kind of interesting, isn't it? Because it flips the whole idea that experience is everything.
It totally does. Instead of thinking of inexperience as a bad thing, he saw it as an advantage. He and his team could experiment and break the mold because they weren't worried about losing something they didn't have.
It's almost like starting with a blank slate gave them more freedom.
Exactly. Sometimes a fresh perspective is all you need.
Okay, so we've got this theme of not letting fear hold you back. But what really hit me is how Ma reframes failure.
How so?
It's not just about tolerating it, it's embracing it. Like he calls it fertilizer, an essential part of learning.
Oh, I like that. It's you need those failures to grow.
Right. And he uses this great analogy. Imagine planting a seed. You don't expect it to instantly become a giant tree, right? There's a process of growth, nurturing, even pruning away dead branches.
And those dead branches are the failure.
Exactly. They're a sign that you're pushing boundaries, experimenting, learning what works and what doesn't.
So, in a way, those failures are actually helping you get closer to success.
That's the idea. You don't dwell on the mistakes, you extract the wisdom from them. It's hey, I messed up here, but this is what I learned, and this is how it got me closer to my goal.
Powerful stuff, especially in a world where everyone's obsessed with overnight success and nobody wants to talk about the struggles behind it.
So true. It's easy to look at someone like Jack Ma and think, oh, he's just lucky. But he's really saying, look, I've been through it all, I've made a ton of mistakes, but I learned from them, and so can you.
And that leads to another big theme in Ma's talks, the whole idea of continuous learning and adapting.
Yeah, he believes the world is changing faster than ever before, and to stay ahead, you gotta constantly be learning.
Makes sense. If you're not learning, you're falling behind.
Exactly. And he's really fascinated by artificial intelligence, AI, and its potential to, totally change industries and the future of work.
AI is definitely a hot topic these days, and sometimes it feels a little scary, to be honest.
I get that. But you might think that a tech guy like Ma would be all about embracing AI without any hesitation.
Right. It's kind of his world.
But he actually brings up some really thought-provoking concerns about the potential downsides, too.
So he's not blindly optimistic about it.
Not at all. He acknowledges that AI could lead to people losing jobs in the short term.
Yeah, that's a legitimate worry for a lot of people.
Absolutely. But he doesn't think it's all doom and gloom. He's actually really optimistic about the long-term potential of AI to create even more jobs and opportunities.
Okay, so how does that work? More jobs from AI?
Here's where it gets interesting. He believes that AI, instead of replacing humans completely, will actually free us up to focus on things that humans are uniquely good at, like, creativity, critical thinking, emotional intelligence, things AI can't really replicate.
So it's more about AI and humans working together.
Exactly.
Right.
And he even argues that our education system needs a major overhaul to prepare future generations for this new reality.
What does he suggest?
Well, he's not a fan of just rote memorization and standardized testing. He wants to see more focus on fostering creativity, innovation, what he calls constructive thinking.
Skills that computers can't just learn.
Exactly. It's about developing those uniquely human abilities that will be even more valuable in the future.
It's a really interesting perspective coming from someone who's, at the forefront of the tech world. He's not just blindly embracing the future, he's thinking about how to prepare for it.
And that's what makes his insights so valuable. He's not just talking the talk, he's walking the walk. He's built one of the most successful companies in the world. And he's really open about the hard work and sacrifices it took.
Yeah, he's definitely not afraid of putting in the hours.
Remember that detail he shared about traveling 867 hours in a single year?
Wow, that's like more than a month in the air.
It is. And he's not just flying around for fun. He's constantly meeting people, building relationships, exploring ideas, pushing boundaries.
Sounds exhausting, honestly.
It probably is. But it also shows his incredible dedication and drive. He's not just sitting back and enjoying the success, he's constantly pushing himself and his company to do more.
And that's probably why he's been so successful. He's not content with the status quo, he's always looking for the next big thing.
Exactly. And that brings us to another key insight: the importance of surrounding yourself with the right people. But we'll dive into that in the next part of our deep dive.
Can't wait. This is great stuff. It's not just about the hours though, right? He seems to really enjoy tackling tough problems.
Totally. He's all about those impossible ideas. The ones everyone else thinks are crazy. He looks for those hidden gems that have huge potential, but nobody else is paying attention to.
That takes guts. Not many people would be willing to take on those kinds of challenges.
Exactly. It's like he thrives on proving people wrong. He's not afraid to challenge those traditional ways of thinking and chase those risky ideas.
Reminds me of that quote, the reasonable man adapts himself to the world. The unreasonable one persists in trying to adapt the world to himself. Therefore, all progress depends on the unreasonable man.
Ooh, that's a good one. Who said that?
George Bernard Shaw.
Makes sense though, right? If you want to achieve something truly groundbreaking, you got to be a little unreasonable.
You got to be willing to take risks, to think outside the box. And that brings us to another key takeaway from Jack Ma: the importance of finding the right people to join you on the journey.
Couldn't agree more. He's a big believer in building a strong team. Not just smart people, individuals who complement your skills and make you better.
Yeah, he even says something like, I'm not the smartest person in the room, but I'm good at finding people who are smarter than me.
Right. It's that humility that allows him to recognize his own limitations and surround himself with people who can fill those gaps.
It's like a puzzle. You need all the right pieces to create the complete picture.
Exactly. Leadership isn't about being the best at everything. It's about building a team that can achieve something truly incredible.
It's about recognizing that everyone has unique strengths and weaknesses and creating an environment where everyone can contribute their best work, learn from each other, push those boundaries.
Speaking of leadership, Madiz's definition of a leader is pretty unique. It's not that traditional top-down approach.
Oh yeah, what's his take on it?
He's all about empowering others, fostering collaboration, creating a culture where everyone wins together.
So it's more about guidance and support than giving orders.
Exactly. She sees leadership as a service. It's about helping your team succeed by removing those obstacles and creating that positive environment.
Like a gardener, creating the right conditions for those plants to thrive.
Love that analogy. And he even says that a leader should be willing to step back and let others shine. Recognize that true success lies in the achievements of the whole team, not just the individual.
That's a pretty refreshing perspective, especially in a world where leadership is often associated with dominance and control.
For sure. Mo's approach is about creating a shared purpose, empowering everyone to take ownership, and building that culture of mutual respect and support.
It all ties back to that idea of finding your purpose, right? Aligning your actions with your values.
Absolutely. He believes that true success isn't just about money or recognition. It's about living a life that's meaningful and fulfilling.
A life that makes a difference.
Exactly. He encourages us to ask ourselves, what am I passionate about? And what kind of impact do I want to have on the world? And then the key is to make sure your actions actually line up with those aspirations.
Walk the walk, not just talk the talk.
Right. Because that sense of purpose, that's what fuels your motivation, your resilience, your ability to overcome those challenges. And speaking of challenges, remember that Jack Ma quote: "Today is tough, tomorrow will be tougher, but the day after tomorrow will be beautiful. But most people die tomorrow evening." Bit of a wake-up call, eh?
Wow, yeah, that's a powerful one. He's not sugarcoating anything.
Nope. He's acknowledging that the journey is going to be hard. There will be obstacles, there will be setbacks, but you got to cultivate that resilience, that mental toughness that helps you bounce back from those tough times and keep moving forward.
It's about not giving up when things get hard and using those challenges to make yourself stronger.
He actually sees every problem, every setback, as training for a better future. It's all about shifting your perspective, seeing those tough times not as defeats, but as valuable lessons, opportunities to learn and adapt and come back stronger.
And that's where his optimism comes in, right? He has this unwavering belief that we can overcome those challenges and achieve incredible things.
He's not naive. He knows the world is full of challenges and uncertainty, but he chooses to focus on the positive, on the possibilities, on the power of human ingenuity and determination.
It's that belief in the human spirit that allows him to see the light at the end of the tunnel, even when it seems really dark.
Exactly. And that brings us to another key takeaway: action. Don't let fear or doubt hold you back. Take those small steps every single day that will lead you to those big achievements.
It's the whole, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step kind of thing.
Exactly. He believes action creates confidence. Even a small step forward can build that momentum and have a ripple effect.
So it's about breaking down those big, scary goals into smaller, more manageable steps.
He calls it think small, dream big.
Yeah.
Celebrate those small wins along the way, because it's those consistent actions, even if they seem tiny at the time, that will ultimately lead to those extraordinary results.
It's about focusing on what you can control, right? Taking those small actions each day to move yourself closer to your goals.
He always asks, what can I do today to get closer to my goal? It's about shifting that focus from dreaming about the future to taking action in the present. And remember, you don't have to do it alone. Build that support network. Surround yourself with people who inspire you, who challenge you, who support your growth.
It's like having a team of cheerleaders in your corner, pushing you to be your best self.
He sees those mentors, collaborators, that community as essential ingredients for success. He even says you should actively seek out partners who are better than you in certain areas.
Really? That seems counterintuitive. Why would you want to partner with someone who's better than you?
Mel sees it as crucial for continuous learning, for achieving those breakthrough results. He's not afraid to admit he doesn't have all the answers and that he relies on the expertise of others. It's about recognizing your own limitations and surrounding yourself with people who can help you reach your full potential.
So it's about being open to learning from others, even if it means admitting you don't know everything.
Exactly. True leadership isn't about ego or control. It's about recognizing that you're part of a team. And another thing that really stood out to me is his belief in the power of ordinary people. He doesn't believe success is just for the elite or the privileged.
He really emphasizes that anyone, regardless of background or circumstances, can make a difference.
He reminds us that he didn't start with any special advantages. He faced tons of rejections and setbacks, but he never gave up on his vision. He never stopped believing in himself.
It's a message of hope, a message of empowerment, that no matter who you are, you have the potential to achieve something extraordinary.
It's a call to action, an invitation to step outside your comfort zone, embrace the unknown, and use your talents to make a positive impact. You don't have to be a CEO or a world leader to make a difference.
It's about those everyday actions, the acts of kindness, the efforts to improve yourself, the steps towards your goals. No matter how small, they all contribute to making the world a better place.
And this brings us to another one of Ma's insights, his unique perspective on technology and the future. While lots of people are worried about AI, he sees it as a huge opportunity.
Yeah, he's not ignoring the potential problems, the job displacement, the ethical issues, but he doesn't let those fears overshadow his optimism.
He really believes that AI can enhance human capabilities, automate those boring tasks, even solve some of the world's biggest problems.
He sees technology as a force for good, a way to connect people, create opportunities, empower individuals.
But he emphasizes that technology is only as good as the people using it. We need to develop and use AI responsibly, ethically, make sure the benefits are shared, and that it empowers humanity, not replaces it.
Sounds like she's calling for a thoughtful and balanced approach to technological advancement.
Definitely. And that leads us to another crucial part of his thinking, that interplay between success and failure.
How does he see those two concepts?
He doesn't see them as opposites. They're two sides of the same coin, two essential parts of a meaningful life.
So it's about embracing both, learning from those mistakes, celebrating the victories, and never losing sight of the big picture.
He believes it's through those struggles, those failures, that willingness to keep trying, that we build resilience, character, and that ability to grow. He's basically saying failure isn't the end of the story, it's just part of the journey to success.
Which is so freeing when you really think about it.
It is. It helps you get over that fear of messing up, taking those risks, getting outside that comfort zone.
Exactly. He even says, go for those tough challenges, the ones everybody else avoids.
Yeah. He thinks that's how you discover your true potential.
By pushing those limits and seeing what you're really capable of.
It makes you think about how Alibaba became so successful, going up against those huge companies like eBay and Amazon.
Right. Not only did they survive, they thrived.
And I think a big part of that was their willingness to embrace those challenges, to think differently, to never ever give up.
It really shows you the power of resilience, that belief in yourself and your vision,
Yeah.
even when the whole world's telling you it's impossible.
Sometimes, the greatest successes come from the people who challenge those old ways of doing things, who go after those crazy ideas that nobody else believes in.
It's about having the courage to be different.
Okay, so we've talked about embracing failure, always learning, the power of teamwork, and finding your purpose. But there's one more big takeaway from these Jack Ma talks:
What's that?
leading with purpose and vision.
That's where his leadership philosophy really comes in.
He doesn't see leadership as some kind of power trip. It's an opportunity to serve others, to empower your team, to make a positive impact on the world.
So it's not about being the boss, it's about being a guide.
Exactly. He believes that having a clear purpose, a reason for being, that's essential for success.
Makes sense. If you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there.
He wants us to ask ourselves, what are we passionate about? What impact do we want to have?
It's about figuring out your core values, what truly matters to you.
And then making sure your actions reflect those values.
Walking the walk, not just talking the talk.
Exactly. Ma believes that when you lead with purpose and you're authentic, that inspires people to follow you.
It's about inspiring others to be their best selves.
And that brings us to one of the most inspiring parts of Jack Ma's story: his belief in the power of everyday people.
He constantly reminds us that we don't have to be CEOs or world leaders to make a difference.
Every act of kindness, every step we take towards our goals, no matter how small,
It all adds up.
it really does. It creates a ripple effect that can change the world.
It's about taking ownership and making a positive impact, starting right now.
Not waiting for permission or the perfect moment, just taking action.
And remembering that true success isn't just about what you achieve for yourself.
It's about how you make the world a better place.
It's about leaving a legacy that matters.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into the mind of Jack Ma, I want to leave you with this question.
Okay, hit me.
What are you going to do today to turn those frustrations into opportunities?
What's that one small step you can take right now to get closer to your goals?
We've given you the cheat sheet. Those powerful insights from one of the most successful entrepreneurs of our time.
Now it's up to you to put those insights into action.
The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams.
And who have the courage to chase those dreams.
Until next time, keep diving deep.
If you like the podcast, make sure you subscribe for the next session.